you see my screen. So Toptracer, what is Toptracer? We do golf technology. That's a pretty niche area of tech, I would say. So I wanted to start with basics. What is golf? And most of you probably heard of it, and it's a sport, right? But I asked my new best friend, ChatGPT, to help me explain what golf is. And this is the answer that I got. Golf is a sport where players hit a ball into a series of holes, a course, using the least number of strokes possible, blending skill, strategy, and outdoor terrain. I think this is a pretty accurate description. And I also got this descriptive image from ChatGPT as well to kind of fill out the explanation. So let's go. What does Toptracer do? We enhance the game of golf. How do we do it? I'm going to take you back to the origin of Toptracer. That's on TV, actually. So this blurry image is golf on TV before Toptracer. Super grainy. Is it even golf? I don't know. Where's the ball? As a cameraman, they'd have to like try to find the ball in this blurry image, white ball against usually cloudy sky. Impossible, right? So Daniel Forsgren, who was then a KTH student, our founder, he decided he could do something about it. And he did. So this is what Toptracer looks on TV today. We basically changed the whole experience of golf on TV by using technology to find where the ball is in the image. So we do our own hardware and we use algorithms to find where in the image the ball is and trace the ball flight. So that's like the origin story. So we started in broadcast, and Daniel, who you can still see at the office sometimes, he founded Toptracer, or then ProTracer, in 2006. But there's a lot of stuff to do in golf, a lot of places where tech can be introduced. And the other big business area is the range part of golf. And that's the training area. So this is what a golf training area or a driving range could look like. Big green field. You have a place where you get a bunch of balls, and then you stand on a little square green mat somewhere here, and you hit balls out into the green field. That's a driving range. And basically what we did when we went from broadcast to the range business is that we took the experience of seeing your ball traced to every single person out there that can play golf, not only the pros. And that can look something like this. Here we have the covered version of our product, where you have a roof and we put cameras just like we do on the broadcast. So we use the cameras to trace the ball, and then you as a player can see your ball trace on the game screens that we have on every spot. We also have a mobile version of the product, still using cameras, but now instead of our game screens, you can see it on your phone, basically. So broadcast, range business, pretty golf nerdy. But I also want to lift a kind of whole other side of the stuff we do, which is entertainment biz. We were acquired by a company in 2016 called Topgolf. I usually describe that as O'Leary's, but for golf. But I'm gonna actually let you see a video of what that looks like. All right, that's golf, but let's make it a party, and that's Topgolf. But we use our technology to be able to deliver that kind of fun experience to everyone. So, recap: broadcast, binge business, entertainment, and all the tech that is used is developed in the Stockholm office here. And we do the whole ecosystem. We deliver the hardware, we design the hardware from the lens and the camera housing to the modeling of the grass and trees in our gins, and everything in between: algorithms, infrastructure, web and app development, you name it. And we're also always on the lookout for innovation and new stuff to continue revolutionizing the golf industry. This is our newest product, Coach, Toptracer Coach, and it basically brings all of that data to the coaches that are teaching people to be better at golf. And it's the biggest game changer I've ever seen in all my years. Coach of the Year, Sweden, said this when he got a demo recently. But that's Toptracer. You're here to hear about all the good stuff in Python. So I'm gonna hand you over to Priyanka so that you can get that. Hope you at least got some insight into what Toptracer is and does.
Thank you, Emily. I guess I can start sharing my screen. Give me a minute. Let me know if you can see slides and now in present mode. Cool. So, hi guys, welcome to all. I'm Priyanka, working as a tech lead in Toptracer. Today we will dive into some of the Python best practices solutions. So, without any further delay, I'll just start with to me, Python is a very versatile language because when I say Python, only versatility is the first word comes to my mind. Since it's the own language, easy to learn with and it's easy to work with, and it can help the scripting to the data science on all level. So to make any programming language more elegant and performance speeding up, we need to follow certain rules in every programming language. So it's nothing different in Python. Since it is an interpreted language, we have to make it more efficient and more readable by following some of the best practices. To enhance its elegance and performance, I would suggest to use few of the libraries functions. When we choose libraries in function, it can be overwhelming. I see a black screen. Do you guys still see my presentation? Okay. So either way, I'll continue. Okay, so when we go with the libraries, I suggest you to go for the compiled solutions and look for opt for the libraries with compiled functions and data structures, and try to use the built-in functions. And the built-in functions in Python are normally written in the C compilations, right? So they are written in a C language. So they are much faster than using certain loops or certain plus operations we do, even in string concatenation. If you use join, that is much more efficient than using a simple plus signature. So that's what we promote. We promote to use the library which already have the C compiled versions and stuff. Make use of the data structures like Python supports tuple, list, and other data structures. And using list, sets, and other data structures make your program more efficient. Moving ahead with list and dictionary comprehensions, there are certain ways to do the things in Python. We can either anyways with any programming language, you can use loops, which is written in the code. Like you can, if you have to find the year, you can create a single list, loop it over, and have it as a even numbers or decided. So the more traditional ways is using loops, but in Python we have something called comprehensions, list and dictionary comprehension, which are more compact. Under the hood, Python actually allows its special bytecode, so they are much faster than traditional looping mechanisms. Uh, with loop comprehensions, it's give you more readability. Actually, so if you see the code in the traditional loop, it might contain 3 or 4 lines of code, while in the comprehension, it is single liner, so it is much more readable and it's much more easily accessible since under the hood is using bytecode comparisons. And same as the dictionary comprehension. So these are the more Pythonic way of coding. Showing it, I will give you the demo of all this codes in Jupyter Notebook after the presentation. And also with the comprehension, we always think of using the filter and map other native functions of the Python, which we use the built-in functions, which make it more faster instead of doing the things more manually. So if you combine the simple logic of mapping or the filter in which are built-in function in Python using the comprehension, you will achieve the more processing, like lesser processing time and a more efficient memory consumptions. Moving ahead with that, we are moving to the generators. We promote to use the generators in Python. Generators are the most kind of, in layman language, if I tell the generators is simply supply and demand chain. You don't store or bulk store the data in memory or bulk store the iterators in memories. You just get things when you need it. You can define any of the functions in Python. Instead of returning the values, you just yield it. And when you yield, it gives you one at a time. So whenever you run the generators, it's give you by the next function or by the loop in like simple way. So you can use for loop. It's memory efficient. It's only give you one request at a time. So it doesn't hold all the bulk data inside. Generators cannot be very handful with the simple calculations, but in the long data sets, it's really helpful for us to use generators when we are evaluating the larger data sets and the streaming files, and or we have to process line by line operations from the log files. Moving ahead to iterators, Lambda function is a tool. So these are the data structures which are supported, or the small tools which are functions which are supported by Python. These are really helpful for your making the code more readable and efficient. Lambdas are really tiny functions which can help you, which are anonymous and which are like one-liners, which so they can calculate very efficiently with the small data. They accept single argument or multi-argument. They have a small arguments and then the expression, whatever you want to handle with it, as a small logic of expression or a simple expression. So they are sorting of a simple tuple. We just have a sorted function from the Python, and then we use Lambda to just get the first value, first index of the tuple. So that's saying that there's the manipulation, but just to keep in mind the Lambda and the list comprehension, everything, we can use it for the very simple function. Just don't overdo it, because if you use complex iteration and complex calculation in Lambda itself, it might be little more time consuming than the traditional loop. They are really easy for the simple operations and even in the nested loops and stuff, but they are really helpful when we keep things simple in that. So the takeaway is use Lambda as much as possible, or iter tools or iterators, but keep it into the simplest way or the more simplified, more readable way. Moving on to iterators, they are the very special methods in Python where you have like two basic methods, which are iter, when you call the object as a iterable, and then you have a next function which to fetch the data of it. So iterators are really generic methods when you can define your own iterators in Python, which is really helpful when you want to loop on over the lot of data and handle your data with your with your own custom logics in it. These are the basic tools, basic methods which are available in Python. And to make it more efficient with tools, there are lot of most commonly used libraries, and there are lots of other libraries in Python which are not used in the code directly, but you can use them in the pipelines, such as MyPy, Black, Pylint, others. So what MyPy actually does, it detects the errors in the code using the type hint. So if you have a variable which is connected to the int, you can it knows, and the code logic, it knows that while interpreting the code, it gives you the pre-errors that you are only accepted to take the ints variables, not as a string. So similarly, it typecast every of your variables and functions. Similarly, we have a black, which is more friendly, and so it keep your code clean and organized with the indentations and the line breaks, so it is more readable. And as any other programming language, the code readability makes your code more valuable and more maintainable. When you mix black with a sort, it make you the sorting of the importing packages very on orders. So yeah. And one takeaway, when you are importing the packages, try to import only the functions needed instead of importing the whole library itself. When we import the whole library, it also makes our project bulkier instead of just more importing the function we need to use in the code. So having said that, we are moving to the little bit more advanced versions of the libraries, which is NumPy, Panda, and vectorization. I'm mentioning this library here because these are the numerical and data science-based libraries. So NumPy is numerical Python, which has C compiled language, and it is based on C language. So it's a base project which makes a lot of different projects like SciPy and Pandas and other. So this is the basic engine of SciPy, Panda, Matplotlib, every other data science, mostly every other data science libraries you will use in Python. So these are they are since MyPy supports multiple array dimensions arrays, and it eases the sorting and migration. So it is now, and we live in the era of AI. So if you have normally asked the GPT for the small prompt, and if you don't give the prompt very concise, it will, since it's not vectorized GPT data, you will not get the data properly until you give it the proper prompt to ask. If the vaguer you go, the vaguer answer you get. So just to move it, to make NumPy faster also, we use other functions such as Python's built-in function filter and map. So NumPy is not used alone, it's used with different other libraries and built-in functions to go ahead with the different data set. I'll take the questions afterwards. Just let me go through the little bit demo for the things we talked about. Switch the share. Stop sharing. Let me know if you see the screen off. Okay, good. So this is the Jupyter notebook. I created every topic small Jupyter notebook file, so I can explain a little bit more here about what we talked about earlier. I'll start with generators, since they are more more used in the life sciences. So let's start with generators here. I'll start with Jupyter Notebook. It's a small notebook where you can write the documentations and write the snippets of the code and view the output here itself. That's why I chose it to use Jupyter Notebook instead of regular any other Py framework. So you can have the output here itself, and you can see the results. So in this function, I'm accepting a large file and it's open the files and it's iterators. So it doesn't return until I call it with the next or in the for loop. So if I want to read all the data, I can call it in the for loop. Since I wanted to read only the first line, or for now, I can have the first line of my log file, which is something, since it's a log file, it outputs the log file, log data. Moving ahead with that, so I have also one more function with it, which is the infinite sequence. So I'm just having it like, instead of yielding the value, instead of returning the value, I'm again yielding, which is the generator keywords. Instead of return, we use yield. And now here I'm using the for loop, since for loop is especially designed to use throw the iterators values one by one. So we can have it in this. And it returns the number, still number, which you are supporting, so which is 5. And moving ahead with the small snippet of lambda functions, we have a list of numbers here. It maps it and create an exponent of again. So lambda, it's just mapping and creating another list with using the function of map, and I'm passing the function as a first argument and the number of list as a second argument. So since I get the map value, I'm converting it to the list and printing it out. So it's just exponent value of the list elements. So it's just to give you the brief idea how you can make use of all the things we talked about. I'll go a little bit deeper with the NumPy and operator. As we mentioned, like NumPy is the basic engine for a lot of things. So we can combine it with other libraries such as operators. So we can use it with the multiple list and other operations. So this is something we have here, and like I have list 1 and list 2 with some numerical value. I'm using the operator.adds. Operator is a library which have all the operation mathematical one. So it normally adds the list 1 and list 2 and return me, since I'm passing as a list, return me as a list again. To give you the glimpse of real value of data analysis in NumPy, we have a smallest program here where I have asked the ChatGPT to create a CSV file with the golf data, and here I'm just reading it to show you what it consists of. It has a flat carry, a ball speed, club type, which like Emily has mentioned, these are the similar kind of data we measure from our tracking systems. So this file have these thing of values. So how we can make use of NumPy and pandas to use this thing. So to get the deviations on of the cells value, we can use directly NumPy and load into the NumPy and get the deviations. And we can also plot it very nicely using some of the plots like functions. So we have a box plot here with the what kind of club types when we use the only column values of club types and the spin. So this plot is using the basic box plot, and we are just using the plot figure here. So this gives a basic idea how NumPy and pandas and other data science tools can be more efficient to do this type of plotting instead of using our regular code. It's achievable different ways, but it is more memory efficient and more kind of best practices to use the more compile libraries and stuff. We can take, I think I'm good with the demo, but we can take few questions if you guys have. Is a blank a link then? Okay, so what is a typical example to use generator for? Typical use case, you can have a generator for the data class. We are using such, let's say you have a very big log files of some MBs, and I don't want to store that data in the MBs. I just want to read it one by one, or read it in a for loop when it reaches, if some error has occurred. So I will check it and throw it the other values. And instead of heralding the data into the memory, I'll use the yield option. So other question is, could it be used with yield objects, both varied values as well as the same values? I'm not sure what the question is completely, but I think the yield is not the object. It gives you the returnable value. Handing you to over Emily, but like I can answer the questions in parallel over chat or the Q&A. But on Q&A, I think I have answered the few.
All right. I think we have one question. What IDE do you use?
I typically use PyCharm or Visual Studio, but both of them serve the purpose. If you're using Jupyter Notebook, both of them are efficient to do the work.
All right. Thank you, Priyanka. So the idea now is that we will tell you a little bit about how it is to work at Toptracer. I started at Toptracer in 2019, fresh out of KDH. I studied computer science and did a master in interactive media technology, so more towards UX. Never thought I'd still be here 4.5 years later, but here I am. And the reason why is because I've had so many great opportunities here. I started as a developer, and then I gradually took on more responsibility within the team and became team lead, which is basically PO, so working with the backlog and planning. And then I had an opportunity to become manager for the team that I was part of. And I was a pretty young woman in tech. I was like 2 years ago, wasn't that long ago. But I was like, if I'm gonna try doing this early in my career, this is the place I want to do it. I have so much trust for the leadership. I really enjoy the culture. It's open, etc. And that's why I'm still here. I got to try being a manager for 2 years, and now I realize that I want to go back to being a PO. So that's what I'm doing now. And yeah, I always feel super supported here and really get good feedback and yeah, I enjoy it here. And as a manager, I also had the opportunity to promote other women. And among other things, I recruited Sarah, who also can tell you a little bit about her journey.
Yes. So hello, everyone. Sarah. Emily was my manager and my boss when I started here. And Felix, which you can see, he recruited me. So it's nice to be here. I also was fresh out of uni when I started here. So I started as a UX UI designer. So I'm originally a industrial designer since college, or like since uni. And then I started here 2 years ago soon, and then I continue on as a full employee UX UI for internal operations and internal toolings to scale the company as most efficient way. And then I gained the trust and the opportunity to become a product owner of the same team. When Emily changed to the other department, I remained with the team, and we came in new team constellations, and I turned out to be the PO. So now I'm product owner of the same team, and also we have collaboration with our mother company in the US. So I have some contact there with a couple of developers. So I hope that all of you know what the product owner does, but it's like really keeping track of the team backlog, the project roadmap, trying to balance the stakeholder loud requests with the technical implementation and try to create the most valuable outcome to meet like the business goal as well. And yeah, as Emily also said, I'm really emphasizing the culture we have here at Toptracer. If you show like engagement and curiosity and ask a lot, you will doors will be open, and you'll gain even more responsibility, hopefully. There's really a fast-moving company and a fast-moving area. So changes are happening quickly, but it's a really nice company to be continuing with. And beside that, beside that great culture we have, and really like gaining this trust, and you're able to also like speak up and really, I believe that the culture we have here makes you feel safe at the workplace, and by that you can really dare to ask all of these questions to make you develop and have like personal development within the company walls. And alongside with that, we also have a lot of like nourishing forums. For example, we have book clubs if you are interested in personal development, or just to be in in the loop of what's happening, and staying up to date and discussing topics that are good to keep on to become on track with the market and trends. And also we have a lot of like physical activities. So when Gabriella joined as the office manager, we've really been encouraging doing shared activities as training together. There's a running club, and since we are a kind of mix between a active and like sports company and a tech company, we're trying to balance both cultures. I'm also doing yoga in the morning sometimes and in the lunch. So I'm a yoga teacher and have the opportunity to share that with the colleagues. And there's just great environment here in the office. It's really inclusive and respectful and fun. Yeah. That's what I had to say.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. I'm just gonna put this out there. We are a tech company. So this is the way it looks. We feel safe and we like working here, but it is a man-dominated company because there's more men. But there are women in leadership positions. We have a lot of women doing a lot of stuff. So I'm excited about the future, and we try to keep our eyes open to see what kind of things we can do to promote women in tech. We're doing this. We've done Data Tjejer. We've had a career organization called Magenta at our office. So we try to do what we can with what we have. And job opportunities, great way to promote women in tech, right? These are our current job openings, and I'm going to hand it over to Felix quickly.
Hello, everyone. So I work with recruitment here at Toptracer, and are recently back. I've been working like in total maybe 5 years for Toptracer, and I really enjoy it as well. It's 5 years is a long time, and I think I've stayed because like partly because of the very unique product, and being able to be in a combination of tech and sports, which is very cool, and being in a company that is founded in Sweden from the beginning by like a KTH student. But of course also like the culture and the people at Toptracer. I think it's a combination of humble, driven, and smart people that are helpful and always helps you out if you have any concerns or need help with any kind of questions. People will give you a hand. So that's really cool, and that's what I've liked at Toptracer. And right now we have some roles opened at Toptracer at the R&D office here in Danderyd in Stockholm. So we have a DevOps engineer position where it's mainly create CI/CD pipelines, and we're using AWS for the cloud and working in a Linux environment. And it's an important team for all the different software teams that we have working in. When they build the product, it's important that the pipelines and everything is working. So that is something, a role that we have right now. And then we have 2 roles to our team called Tracking Core. And Tracking Core is responsible for the tracing of the golf balls. And so they are working mainly towards the range product. So they are tracing golf balls 24/7, almost like every second. So to this team, we are looking for an algorithm engineer and to work like heavily in the back end with the C++ and Python and in Linux environment. And then also, as I mentioned in the chat, we're looking for a product owner to this team as well. And yeah, you can scan the QR code and you will land on the page for our different opportunities. We have a open application link as well. And then like many of the ones that are working at Toptracer joined via a master thesis project and stayed afterwards. So that might be an opportunity to for you to tell us about what you're interested in, and then we might have opportunities that will align with your interests. So feel free to do that. Yeah, I can share the link in the chat as well to make it even more simple. All right.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Felix. Thank you, Sarah, Emily, Priyanka, and also Gabriella is in the call. Now it's if you didn't have anything else, I'm sorry if I interrupted you. But yes, we have 3 minutes left, so I figure I like the things we have, because I've seen here in the chat that Sarah and Felix have answered some of the questions, but we'll see here if yeah,
Felix, a question to you.
Yeah.
Is it okay to write the application in Swedish, or do you want it in English?
Oh no, it can definitely be written in English. The majority of the applications are in English.
But it's okay in both.
Yes.
That's
but
great.
you don't have to write in both. You can pick one.
Okay. Fair enough.
Cool. And
Do you have any tips for encouraging your workplace to engage in these kind of activities? There was some question here from Anonymous. If you'd like my company to host something like this, do you have encouraging tips for activities? Encouraging tips for activities, Sarah.
Okay, tips for maybe I interpret it as tips for encouraging activities.
Yes.
Yes. So we in our office, I'm part of a Toptracer Culture Champion group, founded by partly our sales and Gabriella, to nourish the office culture, for example. So that's a great thing, to gather a couple of people from different parts of the company, to identify like what are the requests from your colleagues, what are you missing, but just have an open ear, listen in on chats around like the lunch table. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
I can fill in that. I think the most important part in the beginning is to like find out what activities that will work at your workplace. We started with 4 cross-training sessions and found out that people like it. So then we tried with yoga as well, and we have a running group now. So you just have to ask people and try different like activities to find out what's working, and then you would just have to be patient because it's hard in the beginning to make people actually show up. It's kind of scary to work out with your colleagues, but just be patient and try to get the people to actually have ask them to what they want to do. It's no need to have cross training if no one wants to do it.
Right. Of course, that's nice to hear. It's like, all right, the time is like running out on us, but I have I'll actually took a print screen and I will get all the questions, and maybe we can do like a Q&A like afterwards in the social media. And this will also be recorded, so in this evening or tomorrow you will get this in your email, a link to the recording, so you can like watch this in afterhand. And if you have like going back with the Priyanka's code session, you can also like go in there and maybe get some of her nice tips and so on. Well, I would love to thank you so much, people at Toptracer, for this nice and inspiring presentation. And I would love to thank everyone who like showed up, and that's that. So thank you everyone, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
also want to emphasize, I saw some LinkedIn friend requests, so don't hesitate on reaching out. All of us are open to answer like personal questions. Yeah, so that's great.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you.